Hey guys, so I just want to thank you for joining me on my $1 million passive income journey. Now, if you're not following already, please subscribe below. That way you'll be able to see exactly what it's going to take to generate $1 million in passive income within the next 18 months. But I do want to thank you guys. I've been getting a lot of encouragement, a lot of support, a lot of emails, but I've also been getting the same question over and over and over again, which is how do I sell to bigger clients? How do I make more money from each sale that I do in my business? So I want to give you guys 5 tips on how to sell to bigger clients. So tip number 1 is to provide value up front. Now I just want to make this clear. This isn't just things I've read in a book or just watched on YouTube. These are actual things I've done in my business that help me grow. So the first thing that you want to do is make sure you provide value up front. So in my business, a lot of times I've done things for free. I've given them free consulting. Sometimes they have technical problems in their office. I solve those things for them. I've referred people to help them with their business. I've also done some, sometimes we had startups where they needed graphic design, they needed some business cards. No problem. I'll help you do that. The thing is, all we're trying to do at this point is build rapport and build trust. That's the most important thing, is trust. Now, if they can't trust you on a small project, why would they ever give you $100,000 for a big project? So you have to look at it that way. That's really the only thing that's holding them back. And once you have their trust, the wall comes down and they'll be willing to work with you. So do whatever it takes to spend some time with them, get to know them, earn their trust. In the digital marketing world, like with the funnel system, we see this all the time. They're providing value up front. Either it's with a free ebook, or sometimes it's just a free video that they can watch, and then slowly after each interaction you get a little bit more. Now you have to pay a little bit for something, and then till the end, at the very end, there's like a high ticket item, which after you've earned their trust, they're willing to pay that. So use that same mentality in face-to-face situations, in all your sales situations. It doesn't even have to just be online. You need to provide that value up front. Now, tip number 2 is to leverage your existing clients. So if some of you don't have any existing clients, or maybe you do, but you're trying to get to that next level of client, the higher paying client, but you don't have any at the current time, one of the things you could do is just do it for free. I know, again, you don't want to work for free, but this is the reasoning, is that it's much easier to close a big deal if you've closed another deal of the similar size. Or it could be even somebody that client that you're trying to get, somebody that he knows or a business that he's heard of. It's very easy for somebody to say yes if they've known that you can do what you say you can do and they have proof that you've done it. It just boggles my mind how many people try to sell out there a product or a service that they've never even done before. For example, maybe you're a social media marketer and you're trying to sell social media marketing without even knowing how to do marketing, or even you don't have any experience trying to grow someone's business and you have no examples. So it's very tough. When you're first starting, it's easy. You can say that, hey, there's a lot of clients out there don't want me to tell you exactly who I'm working with, or there's you can say that I try not to, put all my clients in the spotlight. People say things like that, and it can work for very small projects. If somebody's spending a couple $100, just say, hey, I'll take a chance. Let's go ahead and do that. But when you're dealing with big clients, high ticket items, you need to show that you can actually deliver. And the easiest way to do that is by leveraging who you've done work for and showing them that, hey, these are the clients that I have, and then you basically fit into this bucket just like them, and I could do the exact same thing for you as I did for them. That's the easiest way to do it. And again, if you don't have any of those clients, do it for free. So at least you could put it in your portfolio, in your toolbox of items that you can show the next person that comes along. Tip number 3 is to increase your self-value. So what does that mean? Of course, your self-value is like your knowledge, how much you know, you can read more books, you can attend more seminars, but that's not really what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is how much you believe you're worth. So the thing that I've even struggled with at the beginning of my career, but also I see a lot of people struggling with, is understanding their value. And the problem with this is that if you're targeting higher ticket sales and you're targeting people with more money, you need to be able to put yourself in their shoes and kind of see the scenario. So for example, if you're a service provider and you're typically charging $30 an hour, and then you think to yourself, I want to increase my rates, maybe I can charge $35, $40. Now, if I told you that you should be charging $200 an hour, most people would flip. Most people would say, that's crazy. I'm not that experienced. I shouldn't be getting $200 an hour. In reality, most people who are charging that probably have the same amount of experience. It's really just internally how you view your self-worth. Because you have to look at it this way. People with money, people who can actually pay for your services, people who know what they're doing, understand that they're going to get what they pay for. Just make that clear and hear that they're going to get what they pay for. You've heard that saying. So if they go cheap, they're going to get a cheap product. If they go expensive, they're going to get a premium service. So with that mentality, if you're charging a low price, or even worse, if you're offering discounts on your services, what message does that send to that potential client? You need to set the bar up here so they wonder, say, hey, yeah, these guys, are in the same price range of people who know what they're doing. So they must know what they're doing. Don't sabotage yourself by thinking that you're worth only this much. It's very difficult that, say, if you're making $40,000, $50,000 a year and you have all your friends make about the same amount, your parents always make the same amount, it's hard for you to understand that, hey, I can make $200,000 a year by doing the same thing. It just doesn't make sense to you. But just from experience, if you were to increase your self-value, train yourself to believe that, hey, I'm worth $100 an hour, I'm worth $200 an hour. Once you actually believe it, and that's the key, is believing it. Because if you go out there and you don't sell it, you don't believe it, and you're trying to sell a $200 an hour service when you've been charging $30, and you come off as very unconfident about that price, it'll show. But if you truly believe it and you can mark up your price, I guarantee you're going to see more money. Tip number 4 is to brand yourself. And most people will say to brand yourself as an expert, and that's correct. But it's not in the sense that most people think. So most people think an expert is somebody that knows everything. Somebody that has done it before and knows every little detail about what they're trying to sell. But that's not the case. A true expert is somebody who knows how to learn, who knows how to keep up with the current trends, and who knows how to find solutions. So an expert is somebody who can grab people from different places to fulfill gaps in their own knowledge. And people appreciate that. You don't want to come off as somebody that knows everything, because nobody knows everything. There's always somebody out there that does it better than you. But if you can be that hub of information, if you can get the best people in the industry to come work with you and help you on your project, you'll be much more reviewed as an expert in the industry. And the last tip, which is tip number 5, is to be persistent. A lot of people give up. If somebody says no, they just kind of give up. In any type of sales scenario, unless you're selling something, pretty cheap, pretty easy to attain, it could be a very fast close situation. But when you're dealing with big projects, $50,000, $100,000, $1 million projects, it takes time to build that rapport. It takes time to, get those meetings. So you need to be persistent. And especially when you're dealing with larger projects, a lot of times you're not even dealing with the decision maker. So the decision maker is a busy person. They're not going to be able to just drop what they're doing and have a meeting today and close the deal. So sometimes it doesn't even have to do with them not wanting your service. It has to do with timing. So when you want to be persistent, in this scenario, is to be persistent with the gatekeepers. You want to make friends with that gatekeeper. You want to become somebody that when you walk by, they know exactly who you are. And if you're persistent and you keep going, you keep making appearances, you keep adding touches of contact, go places where that decision maker is at, go places where that gatekeeper is at, so they start to know you, start to trust you. Keep going, and finally, one day you'll get that meeting and you'll close that deal. So I hope all you guys use these 5 tips and start making more money with what you're currently doing today. But if you're interested in learning how to make some more passive income, please follow and stay tuned until the next episode.